So chapter 21 talks about speaking the audience's language and begins with a continuation of identity strategy, remembering that we're putting out our own identity and managing it so that people can perceive us in a certain way, but we can use that in order to speak an audience's language. This last Monday, I had my first Zoom meeting. It was a department meeting, and I was not ready to do Zoom on my own electronic devices. So I went to my friend he is also quarantining, don't worry, and he has his device set up. We log on, and we are in the Zoom meeting. I first show my face in the screen, and then I'm able to get off the screen for the entire meeting, and then pop back on when I need to say something, and then pop back off. When I made one comment in the meeting, I made sure to make a comment, and I talked about how difficult this transition is because I don't have internet at home, stressing again how much I'm not a technological teacher. I was excited when I got a clicker, and this is overwhelming. It manages my identity and reminds my department and my students that this shit's not easy, but we're making it work. With code grooming, are you calling it coronavirus or are you calling it COVID-19? Depends on who you are and whether or not you work for the company that makes Corona beer, huh? Personal arguments can have an impact and help in argumentation and debate, but they have their limits, both believability and being challenged by somebody else's experiences that may contradict your own. So using personal arguments is great, but A, be honest and be able to back that up, and B, have other arguments ready, not just your own experiences. With logic-free values, this is where he's talking about George Herbert Walker Bush. That is Bush Sr., not G-Dub, his idiot son. So George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush Sr., was really good at getting an audience on board, and he would speak to a crowd, and he would use pathos and tap into their values. And then later, was that logically sound? Not necessarily. Remember the wave, getting people on board with the wave in a stadium. It's not hard. It involves pathos and values, not logic. It might involve beer. And get their emotions on board long before the logic needs to prevail. I don't like the example that he uses for code words in the book. I think it's sizist and a little bit sexist. So I will give you my own example for reverse words. Reverse words are where you use a word that means basically the same thing, but initially sounds like the opposite, so you take the sting out of something. So when you say, did I fail the test? And I say, well, you didn't exactly pass. Didn't exactly pass and fail mean the same damn thing, but didn't exactly pass might hurt just a little bit less. Alliteration should have been in the last chapter with wordplay. Alliteration is a literary tool where the beginnings of words start with the same sound, and you can use that to your benefit. When I was organizing in Illinois, for example, with the unions, we had a Freeze the Fees campaign. Freeze the fees. That's an alliteration. F is a bad letter in education, and it was Illinois during the winter, so it was cold. So we wanted to freeze the fees, tapping into all kinds of subconscious ideologies that will get the audience on board. Continuing on with leadership qualities, I think it's important at this point in the text and course for you to think about what you think a good leader is. What makes a good leader? I'm not good at editing yet. Remember that whole identity strategy, no technology thing? So with leadership qualities, think of what you think of as a good leader. Who has the good qualities, who has bad qualities. Remember that from every leader that you're under in your entire world, so every teacher, every manager, every boss, every parent or guardian, every older relative or sibling, you can learn something to do well or something not to do. But you can learn from their style of leadership and figure out why are they doing that style and if that style can work for you. And we will end on identity. Teaching online sucks. I was right.